Peter Buddensiek, like Kano. They're trying to be there.
I'm Roger Parikh, and I'm playing Dash, the defender extraordinaire.
All right, good news. The Kano sleeve is out. That's not a sleeve, actually. That's just a full art one with the Icelander in support. So Wizards of Plenty here on the other side. Is that who is that on the other sleeve? Who's Raj's sleeve?
That's Vincent.
That is Vincent. That looked like Vincent, yeah.
Yeah, that is a Vincent sleeve, which is honestly it's very, very pretty. So we have Icelander sleeves on the one side, of course, that hero now living legend, but at least another wizard, so on theme. And on the other side, we have Vincent, who has essentially achieved living legend status because barely shows up at any event.
I mean, I guess doing the best living legend cosplay by never showing up at that. Okay, so we finally got it. The handshake meta has been solved, which is 2 fakes and then a con.
That handshake might have taken longer than this game will.
Well, we'll find out. I mean, at least the attempt was. So
I love the confidence that Peter has bringing Tunic to this matchup, saying, all right, I'm going to get at least 3 turns, because that was not something I would have predicted.
Well, I think the other chess piece is possibly, it might be Alluvian Constellus. That's like the only other option, which makes, there's Spellfire Cloak, I guess.
What about Threadbare Tunic?
I don't even know what it does, dude. Like, it doesn't even matter.
That was part of the spicy sideboard tech.
There were some suggestions actually made by Majin Bey saying, yeah, I registered a deck. My registered deck had Rouse the Ancients in it. And I was like, why? He said, because it's the dumbest possible card that I'm never going to play anyways. He's like, Kano decks are 60 cards, maybe like 63 or 64. He's like, there's so much like dead weight in it that it's just funny to register cards that make people be like, how is he going to pull this off? What's the special sauce here?
See, it's so funny because they're teammates. And yeah, on the other end of the spectrum, Peter is a firm believer in his sideboard tech, and he convinced me last night, and he said, just pay attention on the broadcast. You're going to see it in action. I know he's been very active in the Kano Discord as well, trying to tell people that he has kind of cracked the lineup, which is part of the reason that he's made the top 8.
So the turn opener is with Raj Parikh, who's, I believe, the 4th seed, and they get to choose where they go. He's, I think, opting to go first, or was it Peter? Nonetheless, it's Peter's opting to play on Raj's turn here, as the initial option here was to load the pistol, and in response, you see an immense amount of action here. 4 cards in the pitch zone, and it's not even Peter's turn. Like, that is just incredible, what Kano can do. Firing in now with 4 Arcane across the board here. There is a decent amount of AB, though, that Raj can lean on.
Yeah, so we have that resolving, and then there's also that Scalding Rain there as well. But as you said, a lot of blues already fired off, and again, this is why Kano is one of the most interesting heroes to play, because there is no your turn, my turn. It's just always our turn, comrade. Kano, of course, hails from Volkor, but originally born in Soviet Russia.
Oh, is that the case?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we're opening it up here with an Aether. My goodness, it's early.
That was an Aether Spindle.
Spindle into Blazing Aether.
Into a Blazing Aether.
That's the one.
And then, of course, the Scalding Rain that was at the start of that.
All right, well, I mean, and again, this is all done on the wrong side of the turn here, I believe, as it's now to Peter, who found an Aether Wildfire, found a Sonic Boom as well.
That actually may have been on Peter's turn because he had just drawn up now, but of course.
Well, you drop at the end of your opponent's turn on turn 0.
Oh, yeah, turn 0. Yeah,
hey,
that's
don't
right.
worry about
this game is fast.
It's all good.
This is why I'm leaning on you as the.
I'll get you a starter deck,
the expert, because you are the Instant Speed podcast host. So here we have a Crucible into another Aether Spindle.
So again, Peter, it's anything that Peter can get before the game officially kind of starts, so to speak, is just going to be extra gravy here, because Peter wants to be able to burn them down. It's going to be a tall order for Raj to really do 30 in one turn. I mean, that's a pipe dream, obviously, but in 2 turns, that is very much on the menu here for Raj. He's going to be boosting like crazy. I think the outcome here for Raj is I got to kill you before you can sort of let the stars align. And on Peter's side, he wants to make sure that he can get everything sort of set up as best as possible.
Yeah, I believe when that spindle connected, obviously you get the opt trigger, and he opted to put a lesson in lava on the top, and then may have even drawn into a second one there.
Zipper hit connecting with the Teklo Pounder. It's going to be 7 boosted away, boosting away a Pulse Wave Harpoon, I believe, to go 7 go again. Again, boosting is not going to be an issue here. In longer games, you kind of have to be cognizant of the fact that, hey, I'm burning cards off the top of my deck to play these. But he's going to toss some cards in front of here, take one. Peter, again, just trying to stay alive. He's got to set up the late game here. And, Charmer, when it comes to those massive combos, there are key pieces that you're looking for. What are those key pieces?
Well, you're looking for cards like either Wildfire, but you're also looking for some of the things to set them up. I think the energy pots, for example, are often overlooked, but a lot of times these Kano players are traditionally trying to give them enough resources so that they can chain through even if they stumble. I don't think that's going to be an option here, as we've kind of noted. Raj is going to look to end this very, very quickly.
Lesson.
There is a lesson hopefully being taught by Peter. We're going to wait and see how much resolves. I will say, as a broadcaster, I appreciate that Peter not only shows with the dice how much damage is being presented, but also how much gets through, so that we understand the triggers here. And we are going to go from lesson to lesson here.
Yeah, shades of high school. Just get burnt by one class and go straight to the next.
This is very reminiscent of a very good friend of mine who has studied several times for an insurance test. Just lesson to lesson. Kano math to Kano math.
No, definitely. Always just a point short of selling you some car insurance. That is Lesson in Lava, fetched by the connection of the previous Lesson in Lava. Yeah. So connecting the dots here. Again, you want to fire off on that big combo. The reach of that massive combo, Charmer, is huge. But with the amount of AB, and how many blues are we looking at here for Raj? A decent amount, I would say. So there's got to be a situation here where Peter has to probably approach this from more of a chip away and stay alive until you get to a magic number.
Well, so that is the interesting bit. You can choose to respect the AB, but also you can try to wait until Raj perhaps overextends. It might actually be one of those scenarios where the lower in health Peter gets, the better off he is, because Raj might smell blood in the water and go, okay, if he's got it, instead of keeping on to the additional blues for the AB. Or he might find a scenario where Raj just doesn't happen to have the blues. Like, yes, you have to respect the arcane barrier, but there is also the chance that your opponent is just on the wrong side of their pitch count, and we are going to have some damage come through here. This is, I'm going to be honest, going a bit slower than I expected this game.
I agree.
Raj at 32, and yes, Peter's already down to 19, but Kano starts at 30, so this is just a little bit of a trickle. I think both of these players respecting each other. Obviously, Peter noting that this is the toughest matchup in terms of decks, but I think Raj is also respecting Peter because he is a phenomenal player, obviously making the top 8, very well known with Kano. I would say if you are Mrs. Altubel, you should be very proud of your boy, because he is sending Canadians back home, and he's looking to send Dash back home here as well.
It's too early for that reference. I don't even know what it means, man.
That's his mother, and she's very proud of him.
Oh,
and
really?
for good reason, because he's an upstanding gentleman. He is a scholar.
It's true. We went for a drink late in the evening yesterday. It was myself, Majin, Elaine Hammondtree, I said Majin. You were there, and Peter showed us a text that he received from his mom, and I quote, Way to send that Canadian home and cook them.
Yeah.
That's
There was
Peter's
there
mom.
was an expletive in there for the
Yes.
actual quote, but it
I
was
am being
yes.
polite about it.
Yeah, it was you cooked them.
You effing cooked them from Peter's mom, which was amazing. So here's another lesson in lava again, beefed up a little bit by that crucible of Aether Weave with the blues being pitched here, finding a lot of the blues at the timely options here. Another lesson in lava.
It is something that is worth noting, which is every time Peter presents this and a blue is used for the arcane barrier, a lot of times when you're deck building on Dash, those blues are intended to power your turn, and that might be why this game's taking a little bit longer to develop, because you're giving away essentially the resources that you would use to power your go wide turns.
It's a very risky endeavor, Charmer, because I agree with you there. Those blues that may be fueling wider attack patterns, these bigger combat chains. You know, Raj, obviously, world-class player, managed to fight through this gauntlet of 115 players to make it to the top 8. He knows what he's doing. The difference here is that you might suspect, hey, like, it's a race. Just eat all the damage and get there before they can. It might just be a matter of the cards that he's finding might just not suit him. They might not be the right sort of 1-2 punch that he needs to actually send 2 turns of 15 in a row, so to speak. You know, I think that what Raj is evaluating here is if my hand doesn't do 15 plus damage, then maybe I need to take a defensive posture here and wait for the big one and then sort of risk it all. But every extra turn that Peter gets, he's managing to find the pieces as he finds another one with another Aether Wildfire. But beyond that, like you mentioned, Charmer, the tunic is now up, and that could present some significance.
I was just getting ready to say a couple of things have happened here. One, Peter actually made it to the tunic, and I know it might have sounded tongue-in-cheek, but there was a legitimate chance that did not happen this game. But we've also now hit a point where Raj has hit a 7-attack twin drive, which is the new card from Bright Lights. Very, very powerful. We're going to do the double boost here. You have to assume this means we're setting up the maximum velocity, so this is going to absolutely start generating the pressure that Peter didn't want to see. The fireworks that we've been talking about might be at hand, because this is going to be a T-bone which will force some equipment out, but with the floating 2 resources, again, if that's that maximum velocity there, Peter's already down to 11. This could be it.
Yeah, it's very much so, possibly it. But
I see the wildfire there.
Yeah, he's got the wildfire, that's for sure. The problem here is, do you just throw a 3-block in front of this and take the... You could potentially take the maximum velocity, go down to 1, and buy yourself an additional turn to maybe look for an extra piece. But Peter at 31 is a good start here. We saw Peter go to 73.
Here's the thing. If you think you have the combo, you let this go through, and then if they throw the maximum velocity, they have no pitch available. So you'll have open rain. It'll just be a, do you have 31 or not? That is the decision, right? So yes, you could go down to 1 to buy yourself a turn, or you could say, hey, do you want to come at me and have no arcane barrier? I dare you.
You dare me?
Well, I'm saying that if you're Peter, that's what you're saying to Raj. And it's probably much kinder than that, because they're both phenomenal people.
Just got a text from Peter's mom that says, I dare you.
I dare you.
Well, there was an F in there, too.
Mrs. Altubel just sent me a text, and it says, I'm firing up the grill, Sonny. Cook them.
Yeah, puts her apron on. Dinner is served. Peter
if he
kind of
shows up to
here,
the next event with like an apron that says I'll cook you, that would be fantastic.
It's a picture of his mom on there too. So Peter, you can see just kind of agonizing a little bit about this play. I mean, he's definitely considering, okay, what is the deal here? His 31 is 100% in reach. It's just a matter of, has he tailored the deck enough? Does he have the right pieces, the tutors and everything? And again, staring down AB3 is a much different story than staring down, let's say, AB1. Peter's journey to the top 8 walked him through a lot of opponents that possibly didn't respect or have as much arcane barrier as Raj's deck is presenting right now. So he has to do the math, as you can see him right now. He's doing that accounting test right now on the table.
Yeah, absolutely, because, again, only those 2 resources available, but also the 1 card for Raj. So you could theoretically block 4 of the damage, but it might still be enough that you could power through. He has Tunic online. He still has Metacarpus and Crucible, obviously. Has the Ragamuffin available, so he can shift something to the top of the deck. Stormstriders is live. He has the 4-card hand and Arsenal. And Raj opted to just pass there. So Raj saying, I don't want to fall into the trap that Peter is laying. I don't want to play this maximum velocity. Again, even though it represents lethal.
Oh, he's pitching the Wildfire here. He's going with the Sonic Boom. Tossing a Voltic Bolt.
Yeah.
4 on the stack here. Pitching one away, pitching the blue away. Lots of blues. Finding them all, finding a ton of blues here, and I believe the deck has a bunch of them as well. So, pitching the Wildfire. Here. Oh, here's another Wildfire. So 1 pitched away, 1 played. Tossing a Voltic Bolt.
All right, we have the Wildfire for 4 that connects, but that is where that turn is going to end. So getting Raj down to 26, going to draw back up. We do still, of course, have that card in the arsenal, all of the other tools available that we mentioned before. This is going to be a twin drive with a single boost just to get the go again, not trying to ramp up the count. But 2 cards still in hand, and of course that 1 resource floating.
So the attack's still coming through. 8 life here. This is not necessarily the end game for Raj, but it's the first chapter here as 5 damage is more than half of the health left here for Peter. But again, Peter being able to operate at instant speed can just at any point pull the rug out. At 26, Raj is certainly in the crosshairs of a massive turn with the Tunic up and all the equipment ready to rock and roll. We're almost there, and Peter again has pulled some rabbits out of his hat yesterday. We saw against a Dromai just managing to bust through with even with the likes of a Thamai on the board, getting rid of that with a sand cover trying to eat up stuff. So Peter knows what's up, and he's going to go down to 3 here. Again, like you said, you just need 1 life.
Yeah, you just need 1 life, but also you want to get Raj to use as many cards as possible. I think that 1 resource ticking down there, I was just going to say, is going to be expended because Raj has hit the point in the game now where he can't overextend. He's actually being very, very smart about this. He's saying, all right, if I can just continue to present damage, I want to get to a point where I can threaten lethal with 1 card and have all of my other cards available for AB because that will slow down the combo. On the other end of the spectrum, Peter has survived long enough now to not only have Tunic live, but found one of those energy potions that I was referring to before.
Massive.
A very, very big piece of this potential puzzle. Trying to see the cards that are shuffling around in hand there. There's another blue, which is obviously important. Part of the combo, actually the ending piece, right, that doubles your arcane damage for the turn does exist there. We've had that 1 card in Arsenal for some time. It's just, what else can Peter find?
So the energy potion plus the Tunic, that's an extra Kano activation, right? Like that's just another kick at the can if necessary. That might just be enough to get you over the top, or just to go ahead and pay for one of the spells that you managed to find with the Kano. So that's a very important aspect here of the game going this long, finding those extra support pieces like the energy potion. So big pull here from Peter. Peter still looking through the hand here. At 3, it could be 3, it could be 300. At a certain point, Peter's going to have to pull the trigger on this. But like you said, Raj is being very cautious. Very cautious. And that is, at this juncture, it's like every card I present is lethal, right? Every single attack, minus the pistol, but every single attack I'm going to send you is gonna threaten your life, and then I'm going to put you on blast. You're going to have to figure this out.
Yeah, I was trying to see what the other cards are that Peter has. I believe that's 1 final lesson in lava there. And then I believe it's also a blazing aether that I saw in the hand as well as he was shuffling through. And the last one might be an aether flare itself.
Peter doing all that early morning wizard math.
Yeah.
That everybody loves.
Kind of hoping that he tilts this card that he's looking at just a little bit more forward because we haven't been able to see what it is he's considering.
So in hand, there's a lesson in
And
lava.
there- all
Okay,
right.
so is that a Voltic bolt?
Yeah, but it's the blue, so it's not going to represent a ton of damage, which means that if he wants to fire this off, I think he's trying to get some chip damage in because he knows that Raj is going to present one attack and then sit on the rest of the cards for AB. So the lower he can get Raj now, the better off he is, but that also means that you might, I was going to say, might have to do something like give up this lesson in lava. So it was an Aether Flare, so we're going to send that.
4 incoming. And the thing is that if Raj defends against this and pitches away, which he does.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to because this is the one that potentially amplifies your future damage.
Into the Voltic Bolt for
Right.
4.
For 4 because of the amplification. And so that does get some of that chip damage in, but that also means that only the arsenal is carrying over. So this is going to be a bit of a casino Kano moment. Yes, you have the ragamuffins, but outside of that, so interesting here, we're going to have the high octane start.
Well, High Octane
for
allows you
Raj.
to pitch away a card, float some resources, and draw, right? So
Right.
it's just that now you're on the stack waiting for this. So I think Peter is thinking, okay, I don't want you to draw that card that could potentially be a blue and then just maybe lose me the game. So is this the moment
Yeah.
where Peter wants to fire off?
Well, and the reason that I said it's interesting is because before I'd said, all right, Raj is going to send one card to present lethal and keep the rest back for AB, but instead he opts to say, hey, I'm not going to technically threaten lethal, but this could actually be worse because, as you said, I might just find another blue. It's going to net me some additional resources.
He's having a look over here.
He's saying, all right, how many attacks have I seen, but how many blues have I also seen you pitch already? Because as you've noted, we have seen a bunch. Yes, Raj runs a lot in his list, but he's also found them pretty consistently up until this point. Obviously, a blue pitch to start this turn as well.
See, if this was like playing
And
against
we are
a-
activating Kano.
If this was against a Dromai deck, then you might suspect, like, you can look through the discard pile and say, okay, I see like 4 blues here. The odds that you have a blue or you drawn into one are fairly
Wow.
low. So that is that is like looking into that graveyard versus looking into a Dromai. It's a little harder for Peter to sort of discern, okay, how many blues are left, because like you said, there's so many in this dash
And
list.
we're just going to go for it. I was just about to say, after using the energy potion last turn, Peter then drew up the other 2, but we are just going to do it. So there is another wildfire with the Metacarpus, so we are just going to be shipping this for 6.
Oh, that was a yellow that he pitched away here?
It does appear that that was a yellow, so that explains the high octane.
So, yeah, I mean, the timing on this before the high octane resolves, that top card, if that was a blue, that changes the dynamics of what this Aether, about what you can pitch and the pitch efficiency here. But again, this is the cascading effect of what Aether Wildfire can do.
Right, so 3 more damage, and then I believe we are still sitting on a blazing. We do have the ragamuffins here, so I think that Kano activation was a bit of an opt so that you can maybe find something that you want to follow this up with.
Again, this all started with Raj's turn playing a high octane. In response, before the card is drawn, Peter said, hold on a second, and then did some thoughts. Now, again, one floating, you do have the tunic value should you choose to have it. I believe that the energy potion was already used, so Peter now just waiting and hoping to find that magic recipe. The dominoes need to fall here. He's done a lot of work, but he's at 3. He's not necessarily at a situation where he's threatening lethal, but he is peeling cards away from Raj here. This isn't necessarily like the end game, as it were. Peter
Well,
might have a situation where maybe the card off the top that Raj draws is not necessarily that smart, but he is okay. So he's letting the card draw occur.
The issue that he's at right now is he has the tunic and the one floating, but he only has 1 card in hand. Raj has obviously the card in Arsenal, and he's now drawing this 1 card off of High Octane. But because Peter couldn't get enough to kill him, he has to keep this card in hand as a potential block option or a way to then finish him off should Raj present the card in hand so that he for sure has no resources available. This is a very tense moment, I think, for both players, because all it takes is like one misstep or one false move, and you either lose the game on the spot or you give your opponent a window to get back into this because you didn't go for the killing blow.
Yeah, it's very much like a standoff situation. It's like, okay, I'm going to stop here. Draw the card. And they, okay, drew the card. It's like, do you want to play the card? Because if you play it, I might be able to kill you, depending on what it is. And Raj's time is like, well, what if I don't play it? You might be able to, or if I do play it, you can kill me. So maybe I'll hold it to AB the rest of your nonsense here. So both players are kind of playing a game of chicken to a degree. And it's fun to see, especially at, 9:30 in the morning.
Now, it is worth noting as well, depending on how big this attack is that Raj drew, it might not be worth it to send it by itself. And then whatever is in the arsenal, if that's not big, then, pitching the card you drew to pay for it might not be the right call. Or it's also possible whatever attack you have down below, like if it's a 2-cost attack, but you drew a red, then you're unable to pay for it. So yeah, that's just going to end up ending the turn. And the reason that I was mentioning the size of attack is because not only does Peter have that one card in hand, but he also still has Tunic available, right? That one extra armor means that Raj was going to have to essentially present at least 7 to try to get to lethal. And now Peter kind of showing what it was. Of course, it was just a blue block 3, but he's going to Kano on his turn, just really to see if he wants to banish this card to get it out of the way, or if it's something that he wants to draw up into his fistful of 4. The biggest issue for Peter now is he's used the Stormstrider boots. Raj is still at 15. He is going to opt to leave it there and draw it up.
Another high octane.
Yeah, so this is now potentially problematic.
Different story here because this card drawn, it just adds to the 3. He's going to let it happen.
It adds to the 3, and then we're going to go into the Twin Drive. We know from many turns ago when he opted not to play it that there is a maximum velocity likely in that arsenal for Raj. So the ability to send a lot of damage here is on the table. Peter has to assume that this is the case.
Oh, he's praying.
I was going to say he's just going to have to go with some Kano activations and see if he can get there now. There's no way he can block out enough cards, and he's given it the magic touch.
Oh, it's a tome.
It's a tome. It's a tome.
Look at him. Now he's in business. Now he's calling his mom.
Yeah, so we're going to be playing that and then doing some more praying, right? We're going to draw 2 cards to see what
you got to find some
tools-
blues. I think he's just
Well, he found
stacking
at
the
least
same
one. It
yeah.
looked like there was a blue zap there. So blue Aether Dart activates Kano. We're going to rub it for luck. Okay, Gaze.
Gaze the Ages. That can bounce back.
That can bounce back, but it also allows you to dig a little bit deeper, so very relevant.
Sometimes it just happens this way, Charmer, when you're playing against a Kano player. You're like, okay, I got this. They need a miracle draw off the top, and look at that. He's going to go ahead and play
tome.
the tome with the resource from the Tunic. That Tunic is playing a lot of good tunes here as the tome drawing some more. He's pitched 3 cards, and he's got like 5 in hand and played 2. Kano is nuts.
He has went to the library because he has played a couple of books. He is still playing blues and drawing cards.
Oh, what happened? So keep in mind, Eye of Ophidia is kind of like that's the crapped out. Like that's the deal or no deal. Like you get busted out on that one. But we'll see what happens. He doesn't look too pleased about this.
Yeah, there is one eye in the list, and you can see the hands on the face and the chuckling. So maybe that is what happened.
Yeah, I mean, and the question is how do you get around it? It kind of just exists like a landmine in that deck. Kind of just sort of stops all your progress.
There is a lot of laughter going on. So,
I mean, is that like it's like tears of joy or tears of sadness? We'll find out. Okay, we're triple Kanoing on the stack, Crucible as well with another 2 floating. What the living hell is going on? We're putting on our hat.
So he's getting rid of. He hit the landmine, I think, but he's getting rid of all the cards in his hand to put them on the stack so that he can do the ragamuffin and get it out of the way.
So it was the eye. It was the landmine.
It was the landmine, but he's got to do this. You said, how do you get it out of the way? Well, this is it. You empty your hand so that you can ragamuffin and then have that in your hand. But now all of those cards that are in your hand are no longer there. So now you're just banking on, can I find enough with all of these activations on their own? This is...
Raj is like, dude, what is going on here? So Canadian Nationals 2021, I'm playing, right? I played my round 3 against the Kano. Turn 0, I was still learning the game. The dude, by the end of turn 0, had 12 cards in his pitch zone. And I was just like, I don't even know what this hero does. Like, what is going on? He's like, you got to trust me. I'm like, okay.
They resolved the ragamuffin. They did the swap. And now we're going through and resolving one by one the Kano activations that were on the stack. The second one, it looks like he has played to the stack here. Still one left to resolve. We're going to grab that one now. We also still have those 2 resources floating.
It's a puzzle.
Yeah, I think that's, is that a Scalding Rain there?
You know the feeling when you actually have to sort of clean up your pitch zone just to make it more presentable? Hey, there's 2 floating, though. You pitched 465 cards, but there's 2 floating left.
You are not wrong. So the interesting bit is one of the ones that he hit was that Potion of Deja Vu, but because he had to empty his hand, that's got a lot less value. So we're going to do another Kano activation. So yeah, there's the Eye of Ophidia. Now, it's a cracked bauble with eye drawn on it just because it was likely swapped out by the judges.
You can do that, though. You can go to a tournament with a cracked bauble. It could be anything you want if you draw it correctly. It's in the rules. Thank you, Josh Scott. Okay, another tome.
Okay.
We ain't done yet.
That tome makes the potion a little bit more impactful, should that be a thing. So we're going to draw 2 more.
Just crack the potion, put all those cards back on top of your deck. Ugh. You know what this feels like? This feels...
Right, Raj, he's like, hey, what's going on with this pitch over here? How many cards do we have in the pitch? Can we get a count?
Yeah, well, that's 8, 9.
How many blues have you went through?
It kind of feels like when you're playing like Nintendo with your brother, and he's so much better than you. It's like, okay, we each take a life, and then like you play, you die in 30 seconds, and then your brother goes and like plays for 4 hours because he's just so good.
Yeah.
That's what Raj played his turn, and now Peter's like, all right, my turn.
Yeah.
Just goes for 48 minutes.
Raj jumped on a Koopa and then fell in a pit, and Peter went through the tunnel, and he's been down through the subterranean level. He's on, like, World 7.
He even went to the part where he's like, no, dude, your Eye of Ophidia is in another castle. And he's like, oh, no problem. Take my hat out. Let's go. Peter.
I think they're just... recounting the order of events for how they got here. This turn, which is, by the way, Raj's turn, but this sequence of event has went so long that we went to commercial break, we came back, Season 1 ended, Season 2 has started, and we're getting the, what you missed recap, the last season on Sons of Kano.
Exactly. Last time on... We should get Ron Perlman in here. Hey, Ron, can you tell us everything? No. All right, Ron. Thanks, man. Well,
and now we're back to Peter laughing. There are just different phases of grief. There's laughter, there's crying. We might be very, very soon getting to acceptance.
If only you would put this kind of effort into an insurance exam.
Then your victory may have been insured, but instead it's a gamble. And here we are. Still trying to find a way to dig. We have 2 cards in hand, 2 resources floating, an opponent at 15, which is a very it's a stiff hill to climb because again, Raj still has 2 cards in hand.
Raj is like, Why did I even play this card? God damn it. Like, this is all my fault.
All right.
Okay. There's a zap.
We're rolling.
Rub it for good luck.
We're rubbing it for good luck. Probably needs another tome here.
Okay, another Gaze the Ages. Peter's running out of surfaces to touch.
I need the right card. What you get is more dig. All right. I used my dig. I need the right card. What you get is more dig.
Okay. So is he just looking for like a wildfire here?
I think he's looking for anything that's not what he's found.
Because you're not wrong.
Because it's just been blues, like nonstop blues.
He's basically gone and bought a lottery ticket, and every single time it says you win one free ticket, and he keeps going back. He's like, all right, let's try again. Do we know what that last card is that he hasn't shown? Is that like a Blazing Aether or something? Is that like the finisher?
I don't remember seeing it. The problem was it was one of the two that he drew off of the tome. He drew them in a way that they were both kind of slanted down, and I only got a side look at it. And the problem is if you don't get a good, clear shot of either the title or the art of the card, all the wizard cards kind of look like blue fire and lightning.
Peter not only pitching he's pitched 9 cards.
He's counting the cards left in his deck, which tells me he's saying, all right, something that's not a blue has to exist here.
The odds, like the numbers, are just not lining up, right? Peter has simultaneously pitched 10 cards and shaved 10 years off his lifespan due to stress.
This turn, as wild as it seems, could have been very, very different as well had he not run into that eye, for example. He had a lot of cards in hand, and he'd hit that Potion of Deja Vu, and unfortunately had to expel his entire hand to get rid of the eye. As you said, a bit of a landmine in this deck, and now he is just trying to figure out how to extend his options. Has to make the choice here. Do I use the Gaze to opt, or do I pitch with it? And obviously you dig further if you use it, but then you're running out of activations. Again, only 2 resources floating here. So you have to be able to pay for whatever it is you find. That's the other part of this equation.
Remember when you said that this was going to be the quickest game of the day?
I do remember that, yeah.
It was feels like 4 days ago. All right, another Kano activation. Survey says... Oh, he didn't rub this one for good luck.
He didn't rub it for good luck, and I think he's regretting it now.
Oh, Emeritus Scolding. Is that red?
I think that's sadly the blue version.
All right, well, it's still 4 damage. It's 4 Arcane because it's played on Raj's turn. Yes, it's Raj's turn. Okay, so it was a tome in hand to pitch with the remainder to go look for more. He's going to Potion of Deja.
Okay.
All right, so Peter is going to shuffle that Blitz deck on top of his deck.
That is... You're not wrong. That is a Blitz deck. That is a massive... pitch stack. Going through and seeing what is all going back. He's ordering just for some quick counts. A couple of Gaze the Ages in there. I think that's Aether Flares that I'm seeing, but obviously the blue ones because they were used for the activations.
Just in case you were wondering, that's not Peter's sideboard. That's his pitch stack.
There is, of course, the Eye of Ophidia in there as well.
Got chat actually donated to buy Raj breakfast while this is happening.
Yeah, incredibly kind of you, Riddler Man Gaming, for buying Raj a sandwich while he waits. And I think if we go and ask him, I bet Brody has an extra one that we could buy off of him.
Brody's not in top 8, man, so we don't know.
Brody, I thought, was in the top 8 on Azalea. He's our Azalea player in the top 8, sir.
Ooh, another generous donation coming in. Thank you very much. This one going to Raj's therapy.
Well, somebody needs to pay for some tutoring for Peter here because he is still deep in the tank. He's been to the library so many times, tome after tome.
I just want to also give a little bit of sort of reality here for those of you who are like, well, is Peter slow play? Peter has always come very close to winning tournaments on Kano, but never really crossed that finish line. He is one of the best Kano players in the world, and he really is devoted to this hero. He wants to be the one to win a big tournament with the hero. And it's not easy to play. So for those who are out there saying, hey, call a judge, this is slow play, this is whatever, it's a very difficult out. This is a do-or-die situation, and it's not an easy to parse out line to victory. It is there. It does exist. Whether it's a 1% or 2%, you want to dig to find it, as he's doing right now. So Peter here is now on the warpath again. He's lined up with the Potion of Deja Vu, putting all the cards back on top in the order that he sees them, with the eye coming through to go ahead and go crazy here. So, Charmer, he might have finally sort of aligned the ducks are in a row now. He's just got to shoot them down.
Yeah, this is... I mean, we solved the eye problem right out of the gate. We had the tome there. I mentioned going to the library, right? We've seen tome after tome after tome after tome. Somebody should tell Kano about Wikipedia. You don't have to go dig through the books anymore.
If Kano becomes like super popular, I'm just bringing like a crossword with me to my matches.
I feel like if we're going to be true to the hero, it should be Sudoku. There has to be something numbers involved.
I remember playing in a Blitz tournament, and I played against Austin Yost on Kano, and when I presented my lethal to him, I was on Bravo, and he's like, okay, I'm going to do my thing. And he does it, and then eventually, as he was parsing out and pitching all the cards, I had pre-reported that he won, and it took him 10 minutes to do it. And he's like, whew, I got there. I'm like, yeah, dude, I reported 10 minutes ago. You got this. You're fine.
All right, so we're at the point where we are now going to fire off the spells. We are now officially resolving these. The first one, which I believe was the Mind Warp.
Mind Warp into, and then the Emeritus Scolding is still floating out there. But the damage is starting to peel through. As you can see, even the cards that were drawn off of the High Octane, etc., Raj is just looking to stay alive. And it's tough. It's a tough reality, Charmer, because like you mentioned, at a certain point you want to present damage, but you want to hold cards in hand to get there. A lot of the major combo pieces for Peter to get through here, like Stormstriders, Metacarpus Nodes, the Aether Wildfire turn, those have already expended. So it's a harder hill to climb here for Peter, but he can get there.
Yes, we have this Scalding Rain.
Then
interesting. Saves the last one to block, but of course, sadly, we know.
Oh no, so close yet so far.
Yeah, we know that there's still an attack left there, and he's just going